Right in this live stream. Many reasons. First of all, it's in my sorry. First of all, the lights. The light. Yeah, I'm going to be running on USB for my entire life in way of electricity. Pretty much for the next month, 6 weeks, and I've accepted it, and I don't really have much of a, well, I have issues with it. I mean, in terms of knowing what standard, main socket in terms of life. But I accept my circumstance and situation, and I know it's not permanent. Process of getting my home fit and ready, and installing the appropriate main sockets on the boat. All the electrics has to be installed and got rid of that, and it's just a process. But I know when I make these live streams now for the next 4 weeks, 6 weeks, anybody that was half thinking about watching along is extra cautious, because if you're depressed, which I am half the time when I make the live streams, and probably a lot more than half the time to everybody else. In other words, I know when I'm depressed, and I know when I'm able to is above and beyond the depression of my life. But I know for a lot of people, when they listen to me, even when I know for myself I'm not in a place of depression, the tone of my voice due to the depression in my life, people are going to still hear depression. And when you hear depression, any darkness just adds to the effect. So it's almost like I need to be putting a PG-15 on these live streams, just to soften the blow to any sorry, this isn't depression, this is just me remnants of stress, and obviously the effects of depression in amongst all of that on my physical body. But yeah, it's taking its toll, and I'm well aware it's hard to watch, but we're going through the Blair Witch season, so to speak, and it is what it is. But my mental health, and I call it my mental health, but I'm really seeing it in terms of stress and shock at the moment, and body, and me trying to rise above that. It's the first time in about 4 months, 3 months, something like that, that we're probably in the period when Mercury retrograde is over, if from the last wobble to me at the moment, just a wobble when it goes in the wrong direction. And I've been busy, but more so in the past 2 days, where I've been able to take action in terms of my life and improving my circumstance, where for a few weeks before that, and it's been hard to accept, you know. There must be some elements of pride in it. It's more just survival mentality to dealing with life's problems, and obviously I have mental health and physical health issues, and where those are factors in my life, I'm having to know when to say, right, okay, these are my new boundaries of where I find myself in terms of my mind and my life. And saying to myself, right, well, this is what's presented in front of me as a challenge. Is it true? Is it true to where I've been for the past year? Is it true where I've been for the past 2-3 years? Is it true for where I've been for the past 6 months? 2 weeks? So in other words, with my mental health, I'm not always allowed to tune into my body and my life and my emotions. And I'm constantly challenged on a daily basis, and I'm mentally taking stock of my mental health. And sometimes life presents a new challenge for me, like I'll wake up and it's like I'm unable to walk from one end of my home, my boat, to the other end, or take 5 steps. And I'm like, well, why is that happening? It doesn't make sense to me. So I'm saying, so it's like, right, well, this is just life is presenting to me at the moment. I have to overcome it. And I might fight it for 3 months because it doesn't make sense to me. And then after 3 months, for instance, I'll hit the wall. I'll hit the wall, and I'll have to surrender. I'll have to say, right, well, you know what? It didn't make sense to me 3 months ago, but I've given everything in the last 3 months to try and overcome this new challenge, and I've just got to incorporate it as part of my life. To say that this is the new level of ability I have as Andreas in the present moment. It took me 9 years to accept my mental health was a finality. Before that, it was always a case of I'm Andrea. I'm going to life without the challenge of my mental health. Accept it. And then it became easier to the present. Easier to me knowing easier because I gave everything to being certain from this disease, this new level. And thing, but when it's your physical takes on a whole new level. It's a lot more brutal on one, and it's a lot more simple. If I've got a mental health problem, I don't know if I can get my mind, my life to accommodate my mind. It's just an aspect of my life that I wasn't able to deal with. But with your physical health, you can't just restructure your mind. If you can't walk, movement, and it's not like you've got to. He will stop you. 5 years to deal with an aspect and realize you can't overcome it because you're your warriorship to really being certain that of your limits. Your body will teach. So it's a lot more slap bang in your face, but I'm learning to deal with it. And as I said, it's aspects of shock, aspects of stress, really. And I've not experienced it on this level, not this way, not with this maturity and experience as I've ever been presented before. But I'm dealing with it in whatever way that I'm capable to deal with it. And as I said, I've taken action this week and to improve my stress level. And only today, as a result of the action I've taken to improve my circumstance and remove stress, I'm like, right, yeah, fantastic. The stress isn't there anymore because I've taken action, and I'm like, let's get on, let's get back into check. And I go to get up, and I realise the last few months have taken their toll on my physical body. I'm seeing stress in the first instance, in a very physical way, in terms of impact. So where I've been trying to move now for about 2 years, and I've had this boat for about, well, I think it was March, April time, really. So what's that? It's about, let's call it 8 months. And I've been trying to get myself on it and leave the flat for 8 months. And I made the decision about 2 months ago, 3 months ago, to say, right, well, I'm stagnating. I've got to just draw the line and say, right, I'm going to leave the flat. And that's what I did at the time. And for me at that moment, I was like, right, that I'm no longer a resident at the flat. It's not my home anymore. The boat is my home. And it's been a process to get my belongings from the flat to the boat. And I was planning to, well, what I put some of my belongings in a storage locker, because the pressure, I wasn't able to do it quick enough, because I handed in the notice for the flats, because as I said, I just realized at the time I need to call the line, and I need to end this back and forth. Where am I? On the boat, sorry, on the boat, or am I in the flat? And I realised I just needed to say, right, that's it. I need to hand in my notice today. I'm no longer a resident at the flat. And it's been a challenge to get myself and my stuff to the boat. You know, with health, the amount of time it would have taken me is just like insignificant. It would have been all in check, all on point, all like anybody would in terms of work. You know, you've got your work, and with your work, you're on point. With your work, you can have deadlines to work to. And it's been a learning process for me to see how much the past 2 years have really debilitated me, how much the last really 2 courses of medication, which have been the more harsh medication in my opinion, they've just been harsh medication at the right time in terms of why. I know that might not make sense, but it's not like it's not like I'm the word the consultants use is relapsing, and because I've relapsed, they've got to up the intensity. No, it's just the case of, on a personal level, I tried taking charge of the medication in terms of requesting a medication on one level I believed was less damaging to my life than others. And after about 5 attempts at that or so, I sort of gave up, and I said, well, you know what, whatever the consultants suggest, I'll do, because I don't have the energy anymore. And I've tried it on 2 occasions, and it's really taken its toll, and I won't do that again. But in addition to that, it's just come at the wrong time as well. I'm 36, and I'm the past 10, 12, 13 years, I can't even remember of my mental health and of stress and of life, have all taken their toll. And it's about this age that we lose our bodies. So it's all been the same process, and it's all been very intense all the same time, all having to deal with acceptance on many levels. And it was a case of that this week. It was like having the storage locker and not being able to go and pick up my stuff, which I was hoping to do in the first week, and then I had to extend it to 2 weeks, then to 4 weeks, and then it looked like, well, I might have to go to 2 months. The constant mental thought of dealing with these problems is too much for me, because I know if I've got health, I can do it when I say I'm going to do it. But, you know, I can't keep extending it because of illogical health problems, because that's how they are when they present themselves. In the first moment, they're dependent upon what's presented for me to accept, right, well, I've got this new health problem, and what am I going to do about it? Is it just my mind playing tricks on me? And I've got to really explore that and be certain. Anyway, I've been broken on many levels now for a while, and when I'm really broken, my autism shows. I'm autistic, but I'm very capable, and I'm on the spectrum because of my capability. In other words, I put into place action plans constantly to systemize my autism and life. And a lot of the time my autism doesn't show because when life really gets to me and I break, I can't really implement those systematizations to my life because they take energy. Because to autism is, from my perspective, like dealing with energy. Let's put it like that. And for whatever reason, people with autism, from my perspective of my life with autism, it's a case of I've got this added energetic weight to my life, and that's autism. And surrender is the easiest thing. So in other words, imagine when you speak to somebody, you can do two things. You can either surrender to the weight of this autism, and when you speak, it's to essentially surrender a part of that this weight takes. So it's like having a weight over half your brain. And when you speak, you have the choice in the moment to surrender, and then you slow down, and it's like when you want to say what you want to express. But with the autism there, because it takes up half your brain, it will limit your vocabulary, it will change your speed, it will change your tone of voice. And with it, it's not a problem. You just surrender to it, you accept it. And when you accept it, you just see the ease. That's what it is. You see the ease. You don't see the problem. You just realize that, well, this is the amount of energy I have because I've got this added weight on my head. And I express this way. But then imagine if you're asserting yourself, like you've got something really fun to do in life. You know, you've got somewhere to go, or you're doing something in terms of work where you're more alert. You realise the circumstance, you're getting paid. You realise the pressure on you and accountability you have. And for that reason, you expend more energy. And with that, you can lift that weight. And when you lift that weight, you find a different speed. You find your brain is more alert. You find new words, a different vocabulary, a different tone of voice. And all it is appropriateness to the moment, really. And appropriateness to the moment determines if you're autistic or if you're able to be on the autistic spectrum. I appreciate a lot of people that are autistic aren't able to lift that weight at all. I'm finding that more and more. Well, I say that I find that where I'm broken, I'm unable to lift that weight more and more. And if you imagine, that's what that analogy I've just expressed in way of speech. If you apply it to movement, if you apply it to your logistical brain, your thinking brain, and then you apply it to your resting brain and your artistic and creative mind, it encompasses all elements of your life. When I'm broken, I can't do a lot of the things because I literally find myself, like earlier in this video almost, where I was stuttering. I was really shut down in the moment. And I couldn't lift the weight. And I've really seen that more and more over the recent week. Really, really hard. And a lot of it is caused by the stress of life and obviously the move that I've been experiencing. And a few days ago I said, sod it, you know. The thought popped into my mind actually, that the best way to do it is surrender that I'm not going to be able to do two, 3 carloads. That's what it would have taken to get my storage locker out of the way. It would have taken me a couple of days, you know, if I was on point. A week if I was taking it easy. 2 weeks if I had a mental health disorder. Then you take the recent past, then you add health problems on, and you think, well, okay, it might be a month. Then you get to a month and you realise, well, actually, I've got more problems than I knew. I've just received my universal credit for the month. What I'm going to do is get a man and van and pay him to come to pick up my stuff, bring it to the boat, and all my stuff is here. My mind is all in the same place. It's not like in Islington and in West London, which it was. It's all currently all my stuff's outside the boat. I've got the challenge of a bit of tidying up and organisation to do, which I love. I don't know if that's all my autism, an autistic aspect, or elements to my mental health. I don't know, but either way, I really enjoy it. I'm good at it. So with the stress that the logistics of bringing my stuff to the boat are I can sort of take my foot off the pedal and think, right, well, let's bring my stuff inside over the next day, 2 days. I spoke to the Canal and River Trust, where I've overstayed far too long, and expressed my circumstance to them. The lady was I don't know how to take her. I don't know if she was helpful or unhelpful, but either way, we half agreed. You know, I've got a week, which is realistic to the past 3 months and where I found myself today. But where I felt like taking that action should have removed a lot of the stress, and it has. I'm sort of coming back to my physical body, and I'm feeling the effects of the stress on my physical body. And I've really had to pace myself today, and I've really been finding myself again, finding my physical body and finding my new limits. So I don't really know where I am, and I'm gonna have to take my foot off the pedal and be kind to myself over the next couple of days. You know, really take the stress off. It might be 3 days before I bring anything in, but if I do that, I can get this window, this skylight all sealed up where it's been leaking, because I've got a lot of stuff in large boxes and it's not going to fit through the small narrow boat front doors. I've got the skylight fitted temporarily. In other words, I can lift it out to bring everything in, and once everything is in, I can seal it properly. And once it's sealed properly in my mind, that's it. I'm in. Until then, I've got the elements that are challenging me, like last night where I was having to use buckets and cups to catch the leaks. And it's a real effect. It's a real an issue when you're challenged to the level where you're broken to the extent I am. When you're clear in mind, you know, these things aren't anything. But when you're broken, you're really feeling that you're exposed to the elements. You're really feeling that you're not in your home. You're really feeling that you're half here, half in your storage locker, half in your car that you want to get rid of and sell because it's just too much of a burden for my life. And things are coming together. You know, I'm going to be home. In the next 3 days, a week. That's there shouldn't be a reason why I can't do that. I can't achieve that on where I suspect I am in terms of health and ability. And then I can move on where I've overstayed on my current mooring spot, and I can take the stress off in terms of how I've burdened my neighbours here and how I've burdened the Canal and River Trust and other boaters. Seal up the window, and for the first time in a year, first time in 2 years, feel like I'm at home. Where I've got where I'm in a bit of like a floating process. And in reality, my mental health isn't really letting me tune into how bad the situation or the work is I've got to do, and because I can't deal with that extra stress. But I'm having to be practical in terms of not being real, because my life is really hard, and if I was real, I'd be depressed, very, very depressed. But knowing how challenging my mental health is every day, and knowing the health benefits, what the as opposed to what you would consider is negative. But for me, negativity is born out of reality. In other words, if I'm just honest, truthful and real with my life and everything I've taught into what being positive and negative is, my life is constantly negative. So I'm actively applying a certain level of positivity to allow rest and ease. And that's really where I find myself, and I sit down today and it's like, I'm a bit like lost, because there's so much from everything I've just spent 37 minutes talking about. I don't have anything left to really know myself, no existence, no life, no other people, no my own circumstances, the words. Like, I can say it, but I can't see myself in relation to it, man. I'm sitting down here with a fire in front of me, and it's like, on one level, I've got a blanket, I've got my USB lights, which is all of this stuff. It's had a long time to get to this point. So on one level, it's like, I've seen the work and I've seen the improvement to my circumstance, and I've got chestnuts on the fire that I'm gonna eat when I when I end this live stream, and I've got a coffee on the stove where I was using the hob, and I'm like, levels of practicality to my life, which is just who I am and have always been. Like, why waste the gas? And I've got a fire on right in front of me anyway. I don't have to get up and go to the kitchen. So I'm learning and I'm improving, and I should be really, really happy on one level, but then I know my life on another level and how challenging it is, and on another level how bad my current circumstance is, and I don't know how to look at it. I don't know how to feel my body. I don't know if I should be honest with how bad my body feels in the moment, and or how much it's improving. How much it's being challenged by my current limitations, how much society is responsible. Can't even think about the fucking coronavirus. It's like, coronavirus? God, man, what are you talking about, coronavirus? That flu thing? That's just the flu, man. What are you fucking worrying about? Don't you have problems? If you've got to worry about the coronavirus, you should be fucking happy, man. Get a bottle of champagne and celebrate. You've made it. You're worrying about a fucking flu. I appreciate people die from it. and I can't put it into context. So I'm having to almost levitate, sink, float, drown at the same time, and fly, walk, and sit and be still, and dance, all at the same fucking time. But I have the experience, I have the training from my mental health to just to know that I've got chestnuts on the fire, and when I end this live stream, I'm going to eat those chestnuts, and the chestnuts are going to taste nice, and they're going to nourish my body, they're going to nourish my mind, and they're going to give me something. It's not to hold to anything I don't need to. I know the plan for tonight. I know the plan for tomorrow, so to speak, in a broad perspective. And I go forwards as always. I don't know if I'm a warrior. I don't know how much I'm insane. I don't know if I'm being played. I don't know what the right word is, being played like an idiot, or if it's a mixture of all of them. But what I'll do in 3 years, if I'm still in this dimension, because I'm hoping to go back to my other dimension, I'll look back at this time and we'll brand it a specific vintage of Andreas's life and mental health challenges. In honour of this period, given how much mixture of everything is in it. Oh, let's end it like this. I realised something, and it felt true, because I've been having downloads, in amongst all of this, I've been having spiritual downloads about the universe and time and everything else, just like totally making sense. The universe and time and us all is like coming to perfect fruit, into calibration and all. Well, that's making sense, but my life doesn't make sense. Does that make sense? I don't know. But in and amongst all that downloads, I've not been able to think about it. I didn't really want it at the time. It just sort of happened. And I realised something about myself in relationship to that, and that was I see myself now as the unifying point between, what was it? Essentially energy. With energy, it's mind and spirit. And spirit, in another aspect, is our past. And I've seen myself as the whatever it is that connects the two together. I'm curious to find out what that could be going forward, but hey. I wish everybody a nice weekend.